After 3 years and almost 30,000 miles on my KTM 390 Adventure, it is time to do some significant maintenance. Now, I'm going to go through that list of maintenance items that I'm going to do just in case it's something you need to do as well. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. As I said in the intro, I have the 2020 KTM 390 Adventure with almost 30,000 miles on it. And as the winter is coming up here in the next few months, I think it's a good time to do some significant maintenance on this bike to get it ready for next spring so that I can pile on another 30,000 miles over the next couple of years. Now I'm going to go through some of those items that I'm planning to do. I will do some videos on these, probably not all of them. But if your bike is approaching that 20,000, maybe getting to the 30,000 mile mark, same as I am, these may be some things you want to consider doing as well. So I'll go through those items that I'm planning just in case you're thinking that you need to do some maintenance on your bike, or if the winter is a good time to do it, maybe you could do some additional preventative maintenance before anything comes up. So let's get started going through all the maintenance items that I'm going to do this winter. All right, one of the important things to do with your bike to keep it performing at its peak is taking care of the suspension. I'm planning to change the fork oil on the bike. When I replaced the springs with the progressive springs, the fork oil was pretty clean, so I didn't change it. But now that I've got almost 30,000 miles, it's time to change it. And I'd also like to see just how dirty the oil is. I'm also considering increasing the weight of the oil from what it was stock, just so that there's a little bit more resistance in the damping. So that'll be something that I do. I may not do a video on that because I've done the video of changing the springs, and that really explains everything that goes into it. With as many miles as I have, it is time to change the coolant. I have not done that since I've owned the bike. So I'm gonna drain the coolant, and you got the overflow reservoir. I'm gonna have to take that off, drain it, and what I think I'm gonna put in is the ice cool, the blue coolant in this is supposed to help the bike operate a little bit cooler temperature. So I'm going to give that a try. I already have it, so it'll be easy to drain this and then just pour that in. So I will do a video on that, just showing you how to drain the fluid out and all those steps that I have to go through. Should be pretty simple, but that is something that needs to be done. Another project is I need to get the valves adjusted on this bike. I have not decided if I'm going to try to do it myself or take it in. My only concern about doing it myself is when I'm replacing the shims, if for some reason I drop a shim down in the bike, then in the engine, that's just going to be a real mess. And because it's not something I do all the time, I just think taking it into the shop, if it's not too ridiculously expensive, they're competent, they do it all the time, they have all the tools, which maybe I may not have all the tools and I may have to buy it. So I think I'm gonna see what it's gonna cost. The last time I had it done, it wasn't very expensive. I may just have the shop do it, but that is a huge maintenance item that I need to do as I'm approaching at 30,000 miles. While the valves are being adjusted, it's a good time to change the spark plug, so I will be doing that as well. I did a video on the spark plug replacement, so it's time. I think I have almost 20,000 miles on the plug that's in there now, so I'll pull it out and put a new one in. The shock has about 11,000 miles on it. I am likely going to take it off and send it in for servicing, mostly because the hydraulic preload adjustment has lost all of its fluid. So when it lost its fluid, I couldn't adjust preload anymore, and it should be covered under warranty. So I'm going to ship that out over the winter to get it serviced, and then the shock should be ready to go for the next year and for years to come. All right, this next item is pretty significant. I'm planning to replace the clutch plates, and the reason for that is I've got about this much friction zone when I should have about that much friction zone. So I know it's because I've done a lot of sand riding, gravel riding, and slipping the clutch. I'm going through some very difficult terrain and riding this bike hard. So clutches are wear items, and while I'm doing all this other work, it seems like it'd be a good time to go ahead and do that replacement. It should be pretty straightforward. So I will do a video on that if it's something that you also think you need to do. The last maintenance item that has been a lot more frequent than I expected is a chain and sprockets. I've been buying like mid-grade chains, and I'm only getting about 9 to 10,000 miles out of those. So I'm gonna do a video on whether or not you really need to change your sprockets. I've been buying steel sprockets, and I have changed those periodically, and I have not changed those between chains, just testing things out. So I'll go over that on what my what I'm gonna do going forward, and it's not necessarily a recommendation, but what I'll be doing. Beyond that, those are really the main maintenance items. Obviously changing the oil is a big maintenance item. Tires, tubes, those are also maintenance items, but not a major thing because that you do that so frequently. So if you have any other maintenance items that you're interested in, let me know. I have done the brakes, so I'm not doing brakes at this point. I did those last year. If there's anything that maybe you need some help on, or if you do have questions, leave those in the comments below. Pretty familiar with this bike, although I don't know everything. There's definitely been some people that have shared some things about this bike that I didn't know that's been helpful. So if you have any tips or tricks, things that you've done on this bike maintenance wise, leave that in the comments below as well. So throughout the winter, I will be doing videos showing those different maintenance items as I go through those, so you can follow along if you're not exactly sure what to do, and hopefully it'll make it fairly simple. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there. The chain and sprockets.